However, do you do your work? Maybe it makes sense. So that you know what we do behind the center. Oh, that's also that you know what we do. Yeah, or I'll just explain it here. That's the live stream.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I'm just going to change the angle over here.
Audio is working fine?
Yes, the audio is very fine.
Yeah. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, hello everyone. I'm Peter. I'm involved very much in OpenStreetMap. And in this talk, I'm going to give you an introduction on what OpenStreetMap is and why it's such an awesome thing. So, I studied computer sciences here in Ghent. After my studies, I became a big OpenStreetMap contributor, and I even found a job in it. I'll look at you later. So the first question, of course, is what exactly is OpenStreetMap? And some of you might already have done it. If you go to the website, you will see, of course, a map, because that's the map in OpenStreetMap. Now, what else can you do on the website? You can plan some routes, you can search for places and stuff like that. But in the end, the website itself is somewhat limited. There's not so much you can do over there. That's because most of the functionality is in foreign applications. Now, what else is OpenStreetMap? It is basically a big pile of geodata. It's a big database, and in that database you have some lines, you have some dots, and every single one of these lines and dots, it has some extra information telling you precisely what that line is or what that dot is. For example, it might be a stream or a road, or the dot might represent a shop or an address or a tree or something like that. No. What else is OpenStreetMap? It's also the freedom to add data. So the database, it can be edited by anyone. You just need to make an account. It takes 5 minutes. And then you can put in whatever data that you want, almost all the data you want. There's still a few rules. If you add something into the database, it has to be verifiable on the cloud. So you have to be able to see it in real life. So now, I would want that there is a bus stop here. That's only stuff that's really there. It has to be somewhat permanent, so like roadworks, only a week or festival of a few days or some events, we don't put it in there. And you're not allowed to infringe copyright. So no copying of Google Maps, basically. Or if you have some map somewhere, you can't just go over and copy everything from that map while editing it. It is fine though to go out yourself to survey and to say like, oh, there's something here. So people have done that. Why is the screen on?
The screen on?
Let's go back. No, there. So people went out and they added what they needed. So of course, we started with streets and cities and place names. But then the cyclists came along and they put in all the cycling network data and all the and some cool information about the quality of cycling. I come from Bruges. People from Bruges might know there's a lot of cobblestone and set around. So I did set out and I went where is cobblestone and where is asphalt, so that I could make a road plan which avoids all the cobblestone. So basically, most of the time it just sends me totally around the city. People on holidays they added the ski pistes and the aerial the cable lifts to go skiing. People added historical information like this is a monument and stuff like that. People went out on the seas and they added the buoys and the light signals. There's a very cool map out there which flashes at the same rate that the buoy actually flashes in the light. Of course, it's not same, but it's the same pattern. So all that stuff is out there. People interested in the infrastructure, they added all the high voltage lines and the power plants and transformation stations. I hope the Russians don't get their hands on this if they ever want to get in, but they probably have this kind of data themselves as well. Another really interesting topic is we had a collaboration in some sense of the word. So basically, for every street in Brussels or in Ghent, we linked the street to Wikidata entry that of the person the street was named after. So, for example, if it's named after King, I don't know, King Leopold or something, it was linked to the Wikipedia page of the king. But then you can query Wikidata and you can ask for all these streets, like, hey, what gender had this person have, and this. And then you can create an overview of the percentage of streets named after men and percentage of streets named after women. So in this case, the blue streets are named after men, the pink streets are named after women, and the green street of that the gender is unknown. And then I think I have a similar map of not of Brussels. Anyway, so another thing that OpenStreetMap does is some groups of people, especially the Red Cross or Médecins Sans Frontières, they are very interested in Africa or South America or places where disaster has struck. And for that, OpenStreetMap is a solution as well, because they can ask volunteers here in Belgium. So they can ask volunteers in Belgium to take the satellite imagery and then draw the buildings and the roads of a place where they do have a campaign. And then if 100 people spend a few hours drawing buildings and drawing roads, they have somewhat complete and somewhat accurate maps of the region they are working in. And then they know, oh, there's a village over there, and there are 20, let's say 20 buildings. Then they know there might be around 40 people living there, so they know they have to take 40 vaccines, or they have to take a certain amount of gear to help them. So this really helps them to plan their operations. So yeah, what is OpenStreetMap? It's literally saving lives in some cases. So what else is OpenStreetMap? It's also the freedom to use data. So we put all this data in. It would be nice if we could use this data for stuff. And basically, I have good news. All the data in OpenStreetMap is free to reuse for whatever purpose. There are a few things you have to keep in mind. First of all, you have to give attribution. So if you use OpenStreetMap, you have to put copyright OpenStreetMap contributors somewhere in the corner of the map or nearby. And you have to keep the data open. So for example, if you make a map of benches in Ghent, and then you take all the benches of OpenStreetMap, and then you add like 10 benches that are missing to your data set. If you republish the data, those 10 benches you added, they are considered open data as well, and another contributor can like take these 10 benches and add them to OpenStreetMap again. So it's kind of Creative Commons by attributions and share alike, but not entirely. There's a few more details to the license, but these are like the most important things. All right. So, as OpenStreetMap is free to reuse, we've seen a huge amount of applications and use cases spring up. So I'm gonna do a very small reading and recommendation of them. So first of all, this is like a heavy-duty application for on your mobile phone. It's called Osmo. Some of you might already use it. It has a ton of features. It can do really awesome things. It's my day-to-day road planning application as well. Another really cool application is that people can, like, with all the data that's in there, you can like build 3D models. So this is Bruges. This is then the campus of Ghent, of the Sterre, where I studied. So it's really cool to see this kind of 3D modeling coming up. Another really fun use case, there's a website. They style the OpenStreetMap like this, and then they print it on like playlets, like puppy play. And then it's a really nice gift for a baby shower to give like a map of their village with all the things that are there. We gave one to my boss like this with like all the details at the right place, like the school building there, and it was really fun to make that. And then another really important thing. So quite often municipalities and municipalities have like their own map with points of interest. Like in this case, it's about cycle pumps. Some municipalities have public cycle pumps. Every municipality has their own map on their website somewhere or they have an Excel sheet, and then it's all scattered around and people don't find it. Brussels was the most extreme example because you have like 30 municipalities there, and then they all had their own website and their own map. And then there was like the Brussels Cycling Association, which tried to connect all the dots, and then they made their own separate map, I think on Google Online Maps. And then we came in a few years back. And then we created like a shared map based on OpenStreetMap where people could easily add their cycle code. So that's where you can easily add the cycle code. And here in Ghent, which is really nice, the cycling embassy also adopted the map, and the cycling embassy even helps out by adding the cycle codes so that they have an up-to-date map. And if they add it this way, then it will show up in Osmo automatically on all these other applications as well, which is pretty nice. We've had some indoor mapping as well since this summer. Another really cool use case, do we have Pokemon Go players here?
Not anymore.
One Pokemon Go player over there. So the base map of Pokemon Go is OpenStreetMap data as well. Of course, it's styled in the colors of Pokemon Go, but if you would compare the geometry of the streets and the buildings, and you would lay it next to OpenStreetMap, you would see it's more or less identical. I say more or less because Pokemon Go only updates like once every 2 years, and then it's data that they download like 6 months beforehand. So you might see some differences. It's just a little out of date. And then another really cool thing to know about Pokemon Go is that we have Pokemon Spawn, and that's also based on OpenStreetMap data. So if the Pokemon Go player can cover their ears.
No, I'm not actively playing it.
You're not actively playing. All right. In that case, we sometimes see people adding like parts because in parts Pokemon spawn. And then suddenly you can see some front garden or some back garden popping up as a park. And then you remove it again because there's some 50-year-old kid who thinks that they can easily catch Pokemon in their front garden. First of all, it doesn't work because we remove it quickly. Often it's only there for 1 or 2 days at most before we catch it. And then they have to be really, really lucky that Pokemon Go would update it precisely that version of OpenStreetMap, so it doesn't work. But every now and then we see this happening. So yeah, another nice map. The maps on Facebook are also based on OpenStreetMap. And that's the same for the map on Instagram. It's also